All right, this is our Xfinity tweet of the night. It comes from Major League Baseball, where Clayton Kershaw becomes just the fourth southpaw to the 3,000 strikeout club. Now, he did it last night at Dodger Stadium. He's done just about everything there is to do. 10-time All-Star, 3-time Cy Young, 2-time World Series champ, and now 3,000 strikeouts. Sure, fire bet to be first ballot Hall of Famer, and should be. What a scene it was for a good guy, very good family man, and gets it done with 3,000 career. That's a lot. When you think of the names involved here, we're talking about Nolan Ryan, Randy Johnson, Bob Gibson, Steve Carlton, one of those lefties. A lot of talent right there, and he joins that club. All right, let's get to the phone lines at 412-575-2600. But before I do, I want to mention that Connor Griffin, we've been talking about Pirate prospects. The one lively bat they do have in their system is Connor Griffin, last year's #1 pick. And boy, he has moved up through low A to high A. He's ripping it up down there. Tonight he hit a 3-run home run, his 13th of the season. We'll show it to you at 11 o'clock on KDKA-TV Sports. He now has 51 RBIs, and we just started the month of June. He's got a lively bat, and he's moving up quickly. And the question is how fast before he gets here. Let's get to the lines, beginning with Chuck in Uniontown. Happy 4th of July early to you, Chuck. How are you?
Thank you. Back at you. It's always good to talk to you. No, I would not trade Mitch Keller. I think that everything that anybody talks about, the being attractive to other clubs, is also necessary for us if we're going to be a competitive or championship team. And wouldn't you like, if we're going to upgrade into competitive or championship status, wouldn't it be nice to go into a three-game series knowing that you have Skeens and Keller? You'd probably win a majority of your three-game series, in the years to come. And another angle of that, I'm not sure that if Sherrington is still the general manager, he would get equal or better value back for what he trades Keller, because his record of that, other than the Bailey Falter deal, is not good. So no, I would not trade Keller at all. He's the most tenured Pirate. I think he should stay with the Pirates.
Thanks, Chuck. I tend to agree with that, and I'll tell you why. Not just Skeens and Keller. Again, Keller is signed for 3 more years at a very attractive price. All right? If you trade him and Jared Jones doesn't come back because he has some post-injury surgery problem next year, all of a sudden a strength of yours becomes a weakness of yours. I would rather take the route of this. Keep him, keep Reynolds, all right? And again, I'll say this knowing that if there is an offer to be made, that is a tremendous offer. But again, Chuck's right. Ben Sherrington has not had the best track record in acquiring, whether it's prospects or players, and he needs to do better at that. But those two guys are here for a long time, and you pretty much know what they're capable of giving you. If you have Keller, if you have Skeens, if you have Chandler, you put in Jared Jones back, say he's healthy, along with whatever, it could be Bailey Falter, although he may be traded. He too has years left. It's a great opportunity to build that staff up and then, to me, go out in free agency and spend more money. Now, they didn't do it this past offseason. They must do it this coming offseason. And if they do that, I think you'll see that there'll be a contending team, at least for a wild card for sure. And that way you keep those guys together at prices you know that you already have pretty much set. You don't have to worry about how much money. Let's go to David in Finleyville. What's up, David? How are you?
Hey, happy 4th of July.
You too. Thanks for calling, David.
Yes, thank you. You're looking better than ever.
Nah.
I want to ask you a question here, and I want your honest opinion.
Mm-hmm.
With all these signings that the Steelers made, without going to the Super Bowl, would it be a lost season? And how many wins do you think they can manage besides 9 and 10 every season? I'll hang up and listen to you. All
right, thanks, man. Appreciate it, Jerry. First of all, I don't think they're a Super Bowl contending team. I think could they be? Could things work out? Everything works in their direction? Sure. There are stories like that every year in sports where teams come out of nowhere and do well. It's just that everything has to be right, and it starts with the tackles. Broderick Jones, is he going to be able to get where he was when he came out of college when he was a 13th pick, or 14th pick, whatever he was? You need that guy at left tackle. It's one of the most important positions, especially when you have a 41, soon to be 42-year-old quarterback. Do I think DK Metcalf is an upgrade over Pickens? Yes. I would have liked to have seen both together, but they brought in Jonnu Smith, and I thought it's a good upgrade, and that's why I thought they won that trade, even though Minkah Fitzpatrick is a guy that you know what you're getting, although the last couple of years you haven't gotten what you thought you were getting. So we'll see. Ramsey's kind of a wild card in that one. But, you know, I think Omar Khan's doing the best he can to make them as competitive as they can be. Again, the key is without compromising what he has in next year's draft. And you never saw any of that. These are essentially one-year deals if they want them to be on all those guys. What do I expect win total? 10, maybe 11. And I think that's probably a reasonable look at what they have on their roster. All right, I think Chris Mueller has made it there. I have no idea why there was crowd. It's the night before 4th of July, so maybe that explains it, or maybe there was a wreck. But you finally got here. I give you credit for making your way through the traffic, Chris.
Yes, there was a crash. It didn't look like horrible, but the kind of thing at the wrong place on the Parkway. So hope everybody's okay. I saw one fender that was quite bent up, but I think it was all things considered could have been a lot worse. And of course, it just happened in the single worst place you could possibly have a fender bender or a wreck on the Parkway. Snarling traffic for 3 miles. I am ready to talk Steelers. It is all about the tackles, Bob. Of course, it's all about Broderick Jones. It's all about whether or not playing the guy at the position you drafted to play him 3 years after you drafted him will actually work out, and I hope it does. They have invested a ton. I know we're talking Omar Khan broadly, I'm sure,
right,
because he signed that extension, but, man, I think you always, at least I do, in the NFL, because I think people have, like, Les Snead with the Rams. He obviously built a team through trades and famously had a suggested expletive them picks, and now they're stockpiling picks again.
Right.
But you still get graded, I think, as a GM primarily on your draft, even if, in this case, Andy Weidel is more the personnel end, and Omar admits that, and Mike Tomlin, we know, wants to have and does have a massive say in personnel. I think Omar's still going to get graded, fairly or not, on how do his picks do. And so far, when you have Jones, who's been a disappointment, I think because they've kind of played him out of position and committed malpractice there, and Fautanu, who missed basically his entire first year because of a knee injury, I do think the jury is out and not looking good, at least right at this moment, on Omar Khan's draft picks.
Yeah, but I also will counter that with Frazier and McCormick. Those two guys are also part of his draft picks, and you know whether or not I still think it's a committee approach. However they do it, probably Tomlin has a lot of say, if not the final say. But you know he's going to put in position players that he can go to everyone involved there and say, this is what we have, I want this, or you want this, what do we do? But those two picks could be good, and they're going to be starters on this offensive line as well. So here's what I said at the beginning, and tell me if you agree. You know, 3 years go by here. The biggest thing he has to do now is get a franchise quarterback. That would be item number one for me. And a close second, of course, would be trying to win in the playoffs, which they haven't done since 2016. So bottom line is those are the two things, and we'll find out next year an awful lot about this organization, and specifically Omar Khan.
I think the one thing that he has shown, and what's the word I'm thinking of here, he's shown an aptitude for, pardon my slow in the uptake brain here, but I think he's shown an aptitude for being willing to make deals, much more aggressive posture. I think Kevin Colbert and Mike worked really well together. I thought the early portion of Kevin's tenure was nothing less than phenomenal. I think you could probably say the first 15 years were almost all very, very good. And then towards the end, I think it did not go as well for Kevin. In fact, I know it didn't go as well. We know this about Omar, though. The phone never stops ringing. He never stops picking it up. He's always working. He's pulling off this trade in what we all acknowledge is like the one true dead period on the NFL calendar. And here he does. He swings a blockbuster with two guys who are on early career Hall of Fame trajectories at the center of it. So I do think he's going to be willing to reshape this roster. I do think he's going to be willing to try to make the moves necessary. You say get a quarterback. The question is he going to be able to position the Steelers on the chessboard with all those picks they have that they can wheel and deal with next year to get the right guy? Like, I do think he is really good at reading the league around him and analyzing and taking in everything that everybody else is doing and then pivoting off of that. I think that's a skill, and I think he has it. He reminds me of Howie Roseman in that regard, but you said it, and everybody knows that's watching this knows that it's true. Until and unless you pick that right guy, you're going to be not vilified, but held as somebody lesser than until you prove that you can find that one quarterback, because that changes everything.
One more quick call before we go to break. And Greg, make it quick. You're in Newcastle, now you're on the air. Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, why trade Brian Reynolds?
Well, again, it would be about what you get in return, but as I suggested, and Chris, I got to take a break, but I'll get your thoughts on this too. I'm okay with keeping him. He's signed for a long time, I think through 2031 at a very good price, and I wouldn't have a problem with that. We got to go to a break. We'll talk to Chris about that when we come back right here live on KDKA Plus on 93.7 The Fan.